So we are in chapter 3.
What page in the old book?
Page 51. So we're in the section Course of Life. So we can understand progress in any particular field. So financial progress means improving your financial standing. Physical progress is becoming fitter, healthier, all that sort of thing. Emotional progress means having better relationships. You understand all that. But what he says is that that doesn't define true progress. So now we ask the question, well then what does true progress actually mean? And one of the ways that we often understand it is by going back to this very common idea that we bring up in just about all of the classes. We ask the question, what is it that all of our activities are directed towards? Whether it's work and career, whether it's family, social life, hobbies, anything. You know, why do we pursue any field of activity or any course of action? What do we want out of it?
We want happiness, we want a reward.
Happiness, yeah. So whether you want to become financially stable so that you can be happy. You get into a relationship so that you can be happy. You divorce so that you can be happy. You get into a job, change jobs, you retire. All these things we do for our sense of subjective well-being. So then what he says is true progress is anything which advances that goal of genuine subjective well-being. If the activities in our life are promoting that goal, then we can say that we're progressing. So genuine happiness we also need to understand. So when we talk about genuine or true happiness, what does it mean? What's the implication? Think of an analogy. If we talk about the idea of true love, what is true love? Genuine love, true love is irrespective of external conditions. So with that understanding there, then what is true happiness? What is genuine happiness?
It's not conditioned on external circumstances.
Exactly. So the subjective happiness that you experience, the subjective well-being that you experience, is not an effect of, or is not dependent upon external circumstances. So you no longer rely upon the external world for your sense of satisfaction. This is a mark of, or this is the measure of human maturity or human growth. And so this is what we're trying to understand, that human maturity, progress in life, is to ensure that our subjective well-being is insulated from changes in the external world. If the activities that we're performing lead us towards that goal, then we're progressing in life, not otherwise. Our materials will fluctuate up and down. Our body will fluctuate up and down, eventually going all the way down. Emotions shift, relationships change, they come, they go. Knowledge comes and goes. Understanding comes and goes. Our moral position shifts. But what's the status of our self-sufficiency with regard to the external world? Do we need it? If we need that thing, we're dependent, we're bound. If we don't have it, we're unhappy. So then, what he talks about all throughout this text is understanding the causes of unhappiness. So one of the ways we can think of it is this. Another word that we often use for happiness is peace. How do you define a peaceful mind?
How do you define what?
A peaceful mind.
Still,
yeah. It's another word. So in other words, it's defined by the absence of agitations. So in the same way that you look at a calm lake, how do you know the lake is calm? There's no ripples. It seems flat. So you recognize the absence of ripples, it's calm. In the same way, a calm mind is one that is absent of ripples, absent of agitations. So if we want to generate a mind that is absent of agitations, what we need to do is understand what are the causes of the agitations. And once we understand the causes of our mental agitations, and consequently how to get rid of them, then we can exploit that knowledge to create a calm mind. The permanent and the long-term way to ensure that our mind is peaceful is to get rid of those causes, is to gradually reduce desires and reduce attachments, exactly as you were saying. So the reduction of desires and agitations is what calms the mind. And the word that we use for the practice or the process of reducing desires is? Study. That's one of the channels, that's one of the disciplines. But the general term.
Oh, detaching?
That's the effect. We detach. Yoga is one of the terms. Spirituality is another term. Religion is another term. All these things mean the same thing. We are being spiritual if and only if the activities that we're performing are reducing our egocentric desires and attachments. That is spirituality. The practice of yoga is exactly the same thing, the reduction of egocentric desires and attachments through the different channels. So you talked about study, the path of knowledge, which is what this is, through bhakti yoga, the path of devotion, and through karma yoga, the path of service, path of action. So you perform all of these three channels and it reduces desires. That eliminates the causes of mental agitation. We become more peaceful, we become more independent of the world. That is progress.